To be successful in investing, you must know how to avoid making a bad investment. A bad investment can literally obliterate your entire life savings and wreck your retirement. At the very least, it will cost you years in retirement savings. What if I told you there is an investment out there that requires very little time, money, and effort, but still generates a bigger return than what most people would get? You probably look at me like I'm crazy, but hear me out. When I first got into college, I got into investing. I wanted to get rich, and stocks were one of the best ways to get rich. I picked a few companies that I heard of and liked, and then proceeded to invest in their stocks, such as McDonald's, Facebook, and Bank of America. This strategy is known as active investing, which basically means picking and investing in companies that I believe will do well in the future. I thought I was brilliant. I wanted to beat the market and be the next stock picking guru with the hot hands. Needless to say, things did not go exactly as planned. I didn't know it back then, but this wasn't a great strategy to build wealth. Picking winning stocks to beat the market is extremely challenging. Doing it consistently in my lifetime is almost impossible. In fact, trying to pick winning stocks to beat the market is like trying to pick winning numbers for the lottery. There's a massive element of luck involved. Not only do you need to be lucky, but you also need skill, time, money, emotional strength, and other resources. Unfortunately, I had none of these. Have you had a similar experience? You thought you were the next prodigy in the investing world, but it turns out you weren't? You're not alone. It's human nature to strive to be better, faster, and smarter than the next guy. The good news is you don't have to work hard to be better than the average investor. An equally bad strategy is hiring someone else to try to beat the market. Instead of picking stocks, you're picking funds, or essentially fund managers. You buy into an actively managed mutual fund and hope that the fund manager is smarter and, more importantly, luckier than you are. This strategy might be even worse than doing it yourself. If you pick the wrong person, odds are you will, and they can't beat the market, you will still have to pay them. So you get burned twice. Research has shown time and again that most actively managed mutual funds fail to beat the market. From 1984 to 1998, Robert D. Arnott, founder of Research Affiliates, did a study of the top 200 actively managed mutual funds that had at least $100 million under management. Guess how many beat the market index? 8. That's a 4% chance that you will pick a winning mutual fund. To put this in perspective, let's say we're playing blackjack. The goal of the game is to get as close to 21 without busting or going over. If you have two face cards, each of which is worth 10, and your inner idiot shouts, "Hit me," you have about an 8% chance to get to 21 without busting. In comparison, there's a 4% chance of picking the right mutual fund that will beat the market. Even if you pick a winner this time, odds are that it won't remain the winner the next time around. Recent evidence is even more depressing to look at. The S&P Dow Jones Indices did a study of 2,132 actively managed mutual funds. Of the 2,132 funds studied, not a single one outperformed the market consistently. So you're basically screwed. Not necessarily. There's a way you could beat most investors out there with little to no work. You don't need a lot of skills or effort with this strategy, and you only pay a very small amount of money to invest in it. No, this is not a fantasy. It's something known as an index fund. The index fund tracks a market, be it stocks, bonds, real estate, and so on. Even the legendary investor, Warren Buffett, advocates for the index funds. He stated that the goal of the non-professionals should not be to pick winners, but to own a cross-section of businesses that, when combined, will do well in the long term. An index fund will achieve this goal. Here's a staggering figure. From 1993 to 2013, the S&P 500 index had an average annual return of 9.28%, but the average mutual fund investor made just over 2.54% according to the Dow Bar. If you invested $10,000 in an index fund, you would have $55,916. In contrast, you would only have $16,386 in your mutual fund. In other words, if you bought and held an index fund, instead of running around picking stocks and mutual funds, you would have made over 3 times more than the typical mutual fund investor. Furthermore, you want to put these investments in a special account. After all, you wouldn't store your drinking water in your toilet bowl, would you? The same applies here. This next video will go over the best retirement accounts for your investments.